This is Math 2, 3.7 notes. That's Unit 3, Lesson 7. And the title of our notes today are Congruence and Overlapping Triangles. Okay, examples. All right, this is a big part of the test, so you want to make sure you understand how to do these, and it can sometimes be visually distracting, like there's a lot of information given, pictures overlapping, so you really want to be able to look, separate, and understand what's going on. Separate and redraw the indicated triangles. Separate and redraw is a big part. If you don't do that part, you will not receive credit. Identify any common angles or sides. So you'll have two overlapping triangles, and they're going to overlap. They're going to share either a side or they're going to share an angle, and we're going to identify what it is. Okay, number 1. So draw your base like this, and from this corner go over and down, and do the same thing the other way. From this corner go over and down. Angle it just a little bit more. Okay, something like that. So I have two overlapping triangles. I will be working with highlighters to color coordinate them. If you have a highlighter, color pencils, color markers, pens, anything will help. All right. Let's go ahead and label. This is M, J, K, and L. And I'm going to tell you up here what two triangles we're dealing with. Triangle MKJ and triangle LJK. Okay, separate and redraw. That's all we're doing right now, is separating, redrawing, and identify the common angle or side. All right, MKJ, I'm going to highlight with yellow. That's this triangle here. So I am just going to redraw it over here. MJK, MJK, MJK. All right, so I'm going to mark this one as well. And if you do use colors, you're allowed to use like color pencils or markers or highlighters. You're allowed to use them on the test as well. And my second one, I will do in pink, LJK. LJK. All right, so let's go ahead and label. This is L. Coming down here is J, and this is K. And when you use your colors, can you see the two colors overlap right here on this side? That means they share the side JK. JK is congruent to JK because of the reflexive property. Here is how we would have had it like when we did our proofs. JK is congruent to JK because of the reflexive property. We didn't really redraw them in our proofs, but for these we are. When you redraw them, you can see the JK and the JK. So separate and redraw, we did that, and and identify any common angles or sides. They share a common side. So I'm going to put here JK, segment JK. So all of this is my answer. We drew it, and I labeled or identified the common side. All right, let's try another one. Number 2, triangle DEH and triangle DFG. Okay, so let's draw our image. And I suggest you draw it with me, otherwise it is going to get a little confusing. Okay, so let's draw a triangle like so, and label this D, E, F. Okay, now you're going to take F and I'm going to call this point here G. You're going to connect over. I'm going to call a point over here H, and you're going to connect H to E. Now, do you see what I'm saying about it can get overwhelming on your eyes? Like, what? I can't even see it. I see all kinds of triangles in there. Well, let's use this D, E, H, D, E, H. So let's draw that one first. D, E, H. D, E, H. And I'm going to put my colors on. And then the other one, DFG. Let's follow that one. DFG. And the letters for this part of your assignment in class will be, like this part here will be given to you. You don't have to try to figure out what triangle's what. All right. So we have DFG. That's this pink one here. DG. I'm going to scooch it up just a smidge. DG, F. Okay. D, G, F. Now, when you look at the piece, the triangle where the two are drawn together before we separate it, they do not have a side in common. Kids will say, well, this side, well, HF is pink, only pink. DH is pink and yellow. And so they don't share this whole side. And not only that, look at the triangles. Like, this triangle doesn't even go, this DEH doesn't even go all the way over to F. So I'm hoping you recognize that they share an angle. This angle right in there. Angle D, angle D. All right, so what is the overlapping angle? I'm going to label it angle D. Now, just a heads up, if you're taking a test and it's multiple choice, and the test writer labels it like this, G, D, F, let's check. G, D, F, G, D, F is at the same angle. G, D, F is the same angle as angle D. So same thing, you can write it here or this way, it's up to you. Just know it's the same when you see it on a multiple choice test question. All right, number 3. Oh, really quick, back up to this one. Sometimes you see it drawn like this. Don't erase yours if you're drawing in pencil, because I'm going to put that back in there. Sometimes you'll see the EF not drawn. Notice that the EF was not necessary. Do you see that? Here's my yellow triangle. Here's my pink triangle. None of them use the side EF. Sometimes it's connected, sometimes it's not. Just know when it's needed and when it is not. All right, next one. Can I have you draw? Something like this. And I'm going to call this up here A, B, C, D. And I'm going to connect D to B and A to C. All right, and I'm going to call the point of intersection right there E. And I should have given you the triangles to begin with, so I'm going to label them now. Triangle CAB and triangle BDC. CAB, BDC. All right, CAB, CAB. So notice that this one here didn't have, like it could have had this top piece closed off and it didn't. Sometimes it's closed off, sometimes it's not. Okay, ABC. Now be careful with these guys. A lot of kids will be like, oh, it's a right triangle. If it's not marked, you cannot assume it's a right triangle. So don't put those in there on your own. A, B, C. and that's for CAB. CAB. Next one is BDC. BDC. BDC, so it's this one here. And let's go ahead and draw it over here. And as I stated earlier, do not assume it's a right triangle. If it doesn't say it, you cannot assume it. B, D, C. Now I'm hoping you can tell where they overlap. Do they overlap on an angle or do they overlap on a side? What do they share? They share the side right here, BC. Can you see? BC is congruent to BC because of the reflexive property, and when you separate it, you can see that those two sides there would be congruent because they overlap in the original image. So segment BC is what they have in common. All right, moving right along. Name. Name a pair of overlapping congruent triangles. State whether the triangles are congruent by side, 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 angle, side, angle, 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 side, side, angle, side, or hypotenuse leg. All right, those are our choices. So you will have a small amount of these here. You will have at least one of these here where you have to redraw and identify the common side or angle. And you will have a good chunk of these here where you have to prove or show that they are congruent, and by which one, which of those. Okay, number one, draw the image with me. This is similar to the one I just did on the previous page. Something like this. A, B, C, D, connect, connect. Okay, so you're going to be given information. First piece of given information, I'm going to mark these like this. That'll be marked for you. If it's marked, you can say yes, it's 90 degrees. If it is not marked, like the one we had on the previous page, you cannot assume. All right, given information. Given AC is congruent to DB. All right, number one, triangle ABC is congruent to triangle blank, and for what reason? All right, so this is looking very similar to what you're going to see on the test. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is redraw. They gave us the first one. They didn't give us both of them. Like the previous page, we had two triangles to redraw every single time. Two triangles to redraw, and I did forget to mark that one pink. But on these, it only gives us one, so we need to figure out the other. ABC. A, B, C. So notice it doesn't say redraw anywhere. You will need to remember to redraw for the test, quiz and test, because if you do not, you're not going to get points. You're going to get docked points if you don't redraw. All right, so let's redraw. A, B, C. And I didn't give myself much room, so I am going to erase and scooch it over just a smidge. All right, A, B, C, A, B, C, and the next one, I'm hoping you can see what it's going to be, is triangle D, E, C. All right, so let's draw that one now. Okay, I know I'm doing a horrible job at these drawings. Okay, D, C, B. And I'm going to put that right angle in there because that was given information. All right. Now, they also gave us that AC is congruent to DB. AC is congruent to DB. That wasn't something we figured out, it was given to us. Now, something we can or will figure out is they share side BC, reflexive property. BC is congruent to BC. When I separate them, BC is still congruent to BC. All right, so why are these two triangles congruent? It's a right triangle. The hypotenuse is congruent. A side is congruent. So we're going to say because of hypotenuse leg. Naming the triangle ABC would be DCB. Okay, number 2. Draw it with me. P, don't connect there, T, R. I'm going to put a point here, Q, and a point here, V, and I'm going to connect across. So T to Q and R to V. Okay, and I'm not connecting this bottom piece. We had one like this previously, and I told you sometimes right there. Sometimes they connect it, sometimes they do not. Just know that bottom piece is not needed. All right, given angle T is congruent to angle R, and PQ is congruent to PV. That's your given information. And I'm going to also tell you here, triangle PTQ is congruent to triangle blank, and for what reason? All right, I am going to have you finish this on your own. I'll start you off. PTQ is here, so redraw that one. And the next one, that in pink, PTQ would be PRV. And I'm hoping you recognize that they share an angle, not a side, but I want you to finish it. Redraw them, mark the given information, mark the angle that they share, put your triangle statement here, and the reason, side, 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 angle, side, angle, whatever it may be. Finish it off and we'll discuss it together in class.